All right, welcome back to our final set of interviews. We are talking now about the end of our Belmont Co-Creating Sustainable Food Supply Chains project. We are in year three, and we are talking to each hub to talk a little bit about what happened during the project, what were some of our successes, what were some of our challenges. So we have Ying-Chen here from our Taiwan hub. Let's just start for those who didn't catch the first video, if they're just hearing about this project and this video for the first time, just tell me a brief background on the project from the Taiwan Hub.
Okay, hello everyone. Regarding the overall background and design of the project, I'm Ying-Chen Lin, an assistant professor in the Department of Real Estate and Built Environment, National Taipei University, Taiwan. So in this project, I serve as the principal investigator and representative of the Taiwan Hub and leading the team of dedicated research assistants and students. And unlike the other hub of the Co-SFSC project, the core design of the Taiwan Hub is set as policy interventions. We main focus on two crucial policies that deeply affect Taiwan's food self-sufficiency rate. The first one is the Big Granary Program, which promote the revival of grains instead of paddy rice. The paddy rice is the original agriculture product in Taiwan, and that is require a lot of irrigation waters. And the second policy is the Taiwan's pathway to net zero emission in 2050. We aim to explore how these macro level policies guide the transformation of food supply chains in Taiwan. And regarding the question, there's so many local practice partners. Let me introduce my partners here. Our local community partner, including both government decision makers and also the frontline agriculture enterprise. They included the Director General from the Department of Resource Sustainability at the Ministry of Agriculture, and that unit is played an essential role for farmland policy in Taiwan. And as well as there are two local practice partners, the agriculture SMES located in central and southern Taiwan, the Uncle Sweet and the Taiwan Soybean Farm, which produce domestic sweet potato and the soybeans. And these two small SMEs are quite well known in Taiwan. So that's what the brief introduction of the Taiwan hubs.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So from the last interview we discussed, I asked a little bit about your expectations for the project. One thing you said during that time was the Taiwan project, just like you said now, is focused on food supply related policy, food self-sufficiency in Taiwan. And you expected that during the 3 years you'd be spending a lot of time interviewing domestic agriculture enterprises, which you did do, and communicating with the Ministry of Agriculture to form some practical policies. And I was wondering, how does that compare with how the project actually worked at the end of the 3 years? Did you end up formulating some policies, working with the Ministry of Agriculture? Yeah, get us updated on how it went.
Yeah, actually it's the 3 years project and now it's about 2.5 years. So look back at the beginning, my initial expectations, we have indeed translated some of the result into practical result and
Hmm.
engage in close collaboration and policy formulation with the Ministry of Agriculture and Agriculture SMES. And during the implementation period, we had just as you mentioned, we highly indeed have many interview and exchange with our local partners.
Hmm.
So we localized the United Nations FAO SOFA framework and successfully developed a kind of tool, the sustainability and governance self-assessment tool for
Hmm.
Taiwan's agriculture enterprise. And this is not just an academic tool, but this tool can also play the role with the high practical policy values. It has applied the enterprise to specifically identify their shortcomings. And we have provided a framework as an assessment mechanism to the official agriculture agency for their consideration for the future resource allocation and enterprise subsidies.
Mm.
And Furthermore, regarding the second policy, the pathway to net zero policy, we also produce some specific quantitative research results. We compare the sustainability of the 1 hectare agricultural land under different 4 scenarios. The first is the traditional farming, using the paddy rice as the case example, and the second one is the farmland that just not produce anything. And the third one is agrivoltaics. And
Mhm.
the last one is the Belmont solar farm.
Mm.
So the result prove that the environmental sustainability of ground mount solar farm and the agrivoltaics is far lower than that fallow and traditional farmings.
Mm.
So this research provide the Ministry of Agriculture with the clear empirical data result. And this part just what I attend to AAG this time. I just try to show my result in the conference. And
Mm.
this result also highlighting the land use conflicts between renewable energy expansion and agricultural development in Taiwan. So this is critical achievement in our attempt to shape practical policies. And in addition to that, now I also working with other colleagues in NDPU. We try to help our government to form the um, farmland white paper in Taiwan, work with the Ministry of Agriculture. So we also try to combine all this kind of concept into the white paper of
Mm.
farmland in Taiwan.
Mm, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's a very interesting result. And I remember when we talked the first time, it's Taiwan is a pretty small country, so you have some connection to the Ministry of Agriculture, and they actually
Yeah.
are like, some interaction and connection, which is really nice. One thing you mentioned at the first interview that you were worried about for the project is that it's
Mhm.
essential to have this across the board exchange to implement these transnational cooperation projects. But the budget is always, of course,
Yeah.
limited, and it's so not so easy to invite all the project partners. So did that worry come true for you, or do you think you were able to do some exchanges across the projects?
Yeah, as you mentioned, because the Taiwan actually is very a tiny small island located in the west side of the Pacific Ocean. So actually, I'm afraid not so many foreign researchers visit here before. So of course, the budget always the issues. But regarding the worry about limited budget preventing us from inviting our partners to Taiwan, I am very happy to say that this worry did not come true. So to overcome this limitation, I actively, in the past last 2.5 years, I actively to seeking multiple external resources, not only the main resources from the NSTC, but in addition to that, I also apply for additional conference funding also from the NSTC, and also successfully apply for competitive funding from my university, National Taipei University here, and also secure a research project funding from the Agency of Rural Development and Soil and Water Conservation, the Ministry of Agriculture. So with all this input resource, we had much more sufficient budget and successfully hosted the one SSCP, the Systems for Sustainable Consumption and Production International Conference in Taiwan at the end of 2024. We successfully invite our partners from Germany, Turkey, and Thailand to Taiwan, and other national team to come to have some exchange in person. We not only held this kind of cross-national academic exchange, but also arrange in-person dialogue for our partners with the officials from the Ministry of Agriculture. So we have the in-depth connection and exchanges, what happened in Taiwan.
Mhm.
And I personally lead our partner on field visit to the two SMEs in Taiwan, the Uncle Sweet and soybean farmers, Taiwan soybean
Mhm.
farmers. So therefore, we are not completed the cross-nation exchange, but it's in depth and breadth even exceed our original expectations. So the funding, I'm lucky to say that the funding is not the problem.
Yeah, I remember even throughout the project as we were meeting there, you were always looking to apply for more funding
Yeah,
opportunities to potentially get everybody together. I was always so
like
impressed by
like a
that.
funding hunter.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so I also think many of the exchanges, some of them I was present at, some I was not. just were really fruitful. And it was a really great project now that we're coming to the end, how much we got to see everybody else's context and sort of meet these other researchers. And there's a lot of connections now between these people and these research teams. So having done this project now that we're almost towards the end, what are you most pleased with or surprised about?
Yeah, about this question, I can answer in two parts. The first part, of course, about the research. And looking back at this project, what surprised me the most that the greatest reward was the profound insight and gained through the cross-nation comparisons.
Hmm.
So while cooperating and exchanging with other hubs, with other countries, I was amazed and deeply impressed by the strong connections and the grassroots spirit demonstrated by the members of local agriculture cooperatives in different hubs. When promoting this kind of sustainable food supplies, just like our friend, our hub in Germany. So when they attending the SRI 2024 hosted in Finland, they did not take the air flight to Finland. They just take a long night train and take a ferry to there, and
Yeah.
it's a round trip. It's amazing. They implemented this kind of sustainable activity in their daily
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
So it's quite impressed me. And also at the same time, we observe significant differences in the role and impact of government agency in various countries. As I mentioned, the Taiwan is very small, so we work very closely with our government. But this situation may not happen in other countries.
Hmm.
So especially when driving this kind of agriculture transformation during the project executions. So this construct in cross-nation farmers' behavior and national governance models are a precious experience I could never have again if I had only do some research in Taiwan. So that is first part surprised me about this project. The second part, as you mentioned, we have a lot of on-site, face-to-face exchanges. So
Hmm.
beyond the research funding themselves, another placing surprised me is the academic diplomacy.
Mm.
As you
Yeah.
know, again, Taiwan is a very small island, so that went far beyond our initial expectations. So this deep transnational partnership extend beyond the project original scope, directly leading to my college. Like now, I working in the College of Public Affairs at the National Taipei University. We have signed college level MOU, academic MOU with two of our partners. The first one is the Mahidol University in Thailand, and also the Middle East Technical University in Turkey.
Hmm.
So we even invite our partner in Thailand, Dr. Nadapo Sompro from Thailand, and also the partner from Turkey, the Dr. Eileen Topo, and back to Taiwan again to conduct in-person teaching for our students. So this kind of button-up transnational educational connection sparked by the project is the most priceless added value of these international collaborations.
Yes, that was what so wonderful to see. What a great the MOU memorandum of understanding this connection between
Yeah,
these different universities, international, and then the students, get to benefit from
yeah,
this too, to have these, researchers from all over the world. So what a wonderful thing that was accomplished, and something I don't think we planned in advance, but happened through the
yeah,
course of the
yeah,
project. So that was exciting. Okay,
yeah.
so thinking about next steps, either for your research or food system transformation more broadly, what do you see as the possible next steps for continuing the work of transforming the food system towards something more sustainable?
Yeah, but I'm thinking about the next step. I believe the key is more deeply integrated food system transformation with my personal expertise is about spatial planning and
Mhm.
also the climate resilience and the policy mainstreamings. I think these three will be the essential. And we already have, as I mentioned before, as we have already have a micro level sustainability assessment tool for the local agriculture enterprise. So next, we hope to scale these indicators up to the macro level of national spatial planning. In addition to that, facing the climate change and natural challenges, we need to continuous evaluating emerging land use model like agrivoltaics to ensure that while pursuing energy transition, so we do not compromise the space and resilience of food productions. And
Mm.
more broadly, our ultimate goal is to promote the food policy mainstreaming. We hope to continue using this strong international network and empirical data to ensure that government future agricultural resource allocation mechanism are truly based on objective quantitative sustainability assessment. And this will fundamentally drive and support more Taiwanese farmers and enterprise toward a sustainable food supply chain from the policy and institutional side. And in addition to that, because I had this kind of Belmont Forum project experiences already as I work with the other hubs. So as also the next step, now I try to apply for a new Belmont Forum project that is focused on resilience. So this 3 years project for me is very precious, priceless experiences. That is
Mm.
my next step.
Wonderful. Well, Ying-Chen, hopefully we will get to work together again in the future. It was
Yeah.
so, and we're still finishing up and wrapping up for the next couple months, but thanks so much for taking the time and sharing your reflections on the project.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to our outcomes
Yes.
and really transforming the food supply chains.
Yes, exactly. 3-year project by 3-year project. We will work
Yeah.
little by little. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm
All
looking
right.
forward to the phase 2.
Okay.